Eastern Iowa's Maquoketa Caves are unlike any other section of our state. An open cave system great for hiking and family exploration. While the trails are closed to visitors after sundown, one photographer gained special permission to bring the nocturnal experience to every Iowan.
Eastern Iowa's Maquoketa Caves are a subterranean environment unlike anything else you'll discover in an Iowa state park. Legend has it that early settlers were pursuing a wounded deer along the rural countryside in the early 1800s. Their chase led them to a surprising discovery: the largest single opening in what would later become Maquoketa Caves State Park. Nearly 200 years later, the park is still a destination for thousands of visitors and families, all intrigued by how a network of rock formations and caves can rest amid an ocean of farm fields. For Max Biederman and Jonathan Banfield, these caves were an opportunity to explore more than their own creative pursuits. A few years ago, both worked at a local television station in the Quad Cities, but grew curious about the burgeoning world of time-lapse and nighttime photography, techniques not often utilized in local news coverage.
Started picking up more photography jobs than video, so basically went that route for a while. Did a lot of weddings, a lot of portrait photography. Jonathan and I were talking, we were both kind of sick of the industry. I got to the point where I couldn't touch a camera unless I was making money, and kind of lost my art. All my portraits and poses were all looking the same. So we decided to just go out and experiment and try different things.
The huge caves, the lights, the lighted caves, you know, it was better than an amusement park for me because it was all like real and nature, and I was more impressed with this kind of setting than Disneyland or something like that. I was taught to appreciate nature from a young age.
Jonathan had fond memories of the Maquoketa Caves, visiting here often as a child. He thought it would be a perfect photographic playground and testing location for their new equipment and techniques. The park is closed to visitors after sunset, but both Max and Jonathan received permission to shoot after hours. It was an experience they will likely never forget.
At night, it's very peaceful. You know, there were some people hiking, but after the park closed, it was really beautiful.
Honestly, we were kind of concerned because of the fog rolling out of the caves and weren't sure if anything was even going to turn out. With the flashes, you know, we were really lighting up the moisture in the air and weren't really sure if we were going to get anything. It was very surreal and organic, like a monster kind of thing dancing around, and I had no idea that that's what it was going to turn out like.
Nighttime time-lapse photography can be a tedious experience, particularly as a beginner. Both men sought to showcase the cave walls and topography as well as the starry sky above. It's a tricky task of light exposure and patience.
We did the light painting, and there was a star that shot right through the opening of the cave. It was probably my favorite photo.
For a pair of novices, they were pleasantly stunned by the results.
They were amazing. I was blown away by what we got. I knew we had some good stuff seeing on the viewfinder, but once we actually got them into the computer and saw them at full res, it was very satisfying.
Gave it to DNR, they put it up on their Facebook page, and it got a decent amount of attention. So that was pretty exciting for us. We weren't really expecting anything out of it. We just came out here for fun to see, you know, what we could get, and ended up being a pretty awesome experience.
Time-lapse technology has advanced rapidly in recent years, as additional tools like motorized camera sliders can help create a sense of movement and a much-desired video look, all showcasing the passage of light and time.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll change if you change that, because it'll just do the math for you.
When we visited Maquoketa Caves State Park during the daylight hours, Both Max and Jonathan were busy with a new photographic toy, still in awe of the optical possibilities.
And it'll do a time-lapse sequence, and it'll actually stop before every shot, which is also nice for star photography, because then you don't get trails if you're moving along the track and you have the shutter open for 10 seconds. So right now, Jonathan is going to set up the parameters and tell it where to start, where to stop, and then he's going to tell this motor where to start and where to stop as well. 15th second shutter speed. The wet slider we were used to shooting on didn't even have feet, so we had to make sure we would just kind of jimmy rig our phones underneath it to make sure it was level.
Our visit was a reunion for both men, as Max now lives in Ohio, but his memories and fondness for a starry night in Iowa still stand out.
A lot of people think Iowa is flat, farmland, and it's really not like that. It's so, especially when you get closer to the Mississippi, it's really hilly, it's really beautiful. There's a lot of interesting landscapes to shoot. You really wouldn't think that there would be caves this big.
And for Jonathan, the ability to rediscover a location he remembers from his childhood was equally fulfilling.
Just to get people to these places and to respect them and appreciate them, that means a lot to me through my upbringing, and also being able to reflect the beauty of a place like this with my art is really rewarding. That's kind of, at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me.
Their work caught the attention of Iowa park goers online and provided renewed interest from park visitors looking for an outdoor experience within their state's borders. For Max and Jonathan, their work is proof that in Iowa, the next great adventure may be in your own backyard.